Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Amar Elm, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are absolutely thrilled to have Kenneth Henson, the founder and CEO of KJH Consulting. This is a public service-based business delivering high-level training and consulting services to retail organizations, particularly banks, credit unions, and other cash-based businesses. With over 30 years of experience as a law enforcement officer and training professional, Kenneth brings a wealth of expertise to his clients, offering services in crime prevention, crisis communication, de-escalation, active shooter response, workplace violence awareness, physical security inspections, and robbery identification and reaction. Kenneth, welcome to Founders Future.
That was a mouthful, man.
Well, it's your fault, man. You've got this great background.
I don't know exactly where you got it from. That's just a mouthful when you have to say it all out loud like that.
For sure. But I'm super excited to dive in. So I always like to start from the beginning. Take us back to before you started your consulting firm. What was the motivation? What was the inspiration? And what problems were you looking to solve in the marketplace?
So back when I was doing my job before I retired, I found that a lot of businesses were having issues with, one, how to deal with troubled customers, even customers that are mentally ill. That was my big focus, on how to deal with mentally ill. And then that just morphed into dealing with troubled customers, robbery, how to deal with a robbery prevention, and robbery response. So it morphed into that. Moreover, though, I love instructing, number one. So I've done it since I was an 18-year-old in the military, all the way to now. I'm a 53-year-old man with a wife and kids and a retirement now. So that was my big thing. Just seeing how people were putting themselves in danger, dealing with people that are out of control and dealing with mentally ill, primarily. Yeah.
Yeah. Was the consulting because of the passion for instructing and helping people out? Why go that route?
Partially. So I did 25 years as a police officer. I did another 6.5 years in the military as a military police officer. But during that stint on the civilian side, I had the opportunity to go teach this robbery class and teach the dealing with mentally ill class. Those classes were overwhelmingly successful. The feedback from just those classes when I did, and this is something I just came up on my own because I have a relative in the field that asked me for the class, and it went overwhelmingly well. Maybe 4 years later, I retired, and I'm getting good retirement. I just said, I'm bored. Let me find something to do. I shotgunned some people, and they were like, yeah, sure, come in and do it. And then after that, it just took off.
Yeah, that's awesome. So help us understand today, for the listeners, KJH Consulting.
Yes, sir.
Who do you primarily work with? Who's your ICP? And what are the different offers and services that you provide?
So mainly, what I've been dealing with mainly has been credit unions.
Okay.
Trying to get into the corporate banking requires a lot. I'm not to that level yet, but I've dealt with banks down in credit unions down in California, Portland, Seattle, a bunch of little small places. I've even done some nonprofit. I'm dealing with the YMCA. Matter of fact, tomorrow I'm going to go teach at the YMCA or the YWCA. And then on the 22nd, I'm teaching at the YMCA. So it's just not basically the corporate world. I'm also doing some stuff for these nonprofits as well.
Got it. So you've got the corporate side, you've got the nonprofit side as well. What does an engagement look like? Let's say we sign an agreement, hey, we're going to work together. Is it you fly out and you come in and you do in-person stuff? Is it virtual over Zoom? What does that look like?
That's a great question. First and foremost, I usually have an interview similar to like what we're doing right now, and I talk about what it is the information that we're going to give. Secondly, I ask to see their manuals, policy manuals, based off of what it is I'm teaching. Do you have a manual for robbery? Do you have a manual for dealing with troubled customers? Opening and closing procedures, especially when we're talking about robbery stuff. I look at those things and I talk to them. I said, well, here, looking at your policy, things that I would change based off of my experience are these things. And then same with dealing with the troubled customers or mentally ill. Do you have a policy? Let's look at your policy. If your policy is spot on, I say, I love your policy. We're teaching the exact same curriculum that you have in your policy. So that's how that would look. And then we would talk about what's best. I always love teaching in person.
Got
I think there's a lot lost by instructing over Zoom or over Teams or what have you. You lose a lot. In fact, I think the vast majority of my success is because of my face to face with people, my in person conversations. Because you and most of it that have ever taught or instructed know that a lot of times those conversations when you're in person can go left or right. And some people like to go down certain avenues. And when we go down those avenues, it just opens up the entire gamut of just being able to produce those topics in a better manner, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. I've been to many in-person events, whether they're conferences, 2-day, 3-day workshops, and there's definitely a different element when you're in person. It adds a different energy to the whole situation. Two questions. Do you fly out nationwide? Or is this just in Seattle?
Yes,
So,
sir.
okay. And then the other thing is in person definitely has a different element, but we've had people express concerns with inability to scale effectively because it's in person. Have you found that to be the case, and how have you navigated that?
So when you say scale, what do you mean?
Bring on more clients, work with more people, drive more revenue with those clients.
Yes, absolutely. And that's the one reason why I even offer it. And honestly, truth be told, I offer it at a discount because I don't have to travel and get a car and have lodging and everything else. But yeah, so they've always asked, so would this be on Zoom or would this be an in-person class? And I would say, I, trust me when I tell you, the class is far better when it's in person. And the place that I've done both down in Portland, I think they're Point West Credit Union, they said the exact same thing. They said, while your virtual class is good, we love to have you in the building. And I bring 4 people with me because we either teach or we act during scenarios that we have during that course.
Got it. And these 4 people are part of the company?
Yes,
Or
sir.
okay, amazing. Well, help us understand a little bit of the back end. How do you generate these leads for the clients that you work with?
Yeah. So see, and it's weird because I was literally just talking to my wife the other day. It's little stuff like this helps me out. I've been on LinkedIn for a while. I've shot out stuff in LinkedIn, but to keep it honest, everything that I've done has been word of mouth. There's been one I can think of where someone's reached out to me after I've reached out to them in LinkedIn, but having dealt with people in HR and risk management and security and the training departments and divisions, they are the ones that actually shoot stuff out. So I had a lead. The lead in Portland was because one of the HR individuals said, "Hey, is anybody teaching how to deal with mentally ill?" And I literally just finished teaching a class a week prior when I was reached out from that HR personnel from Portland saying, "Hey, I got your information from
XYZ.
Kim." Yeah, from Kim, and Kim said that you had a great class. Let's talk. So it's mainly word of mouth, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's amazing. Word of mouth referrals. Those are some of the best leads that come in through the door.
I agree.
Do
I
you
totally
find that it can be sometimes inconsistent when it comes to the lead flow? Because that's not really something that you can control, right?
correct. Well, and see, the bigger thing, man. This is so when I started saying, "How am I going to talk about this?" One of the things that is a little bit different is I'm retired, so I'm not counting on this income to do anything. Like I need this, I need to work, I need to work. I'm retired. I have enough money to live off of. I really enjoy what I do, though.
Mm,
So couple that with I can work as much as I want. I can get up at 10 o'clock if I want to, kind of thing. I can go to the gym, wash my car, do my grass when I want to, as opposed to being set for the grind.
yeah.
And that kind of makes you miss it when you're not doing it, if that makes sense. So if I haven't done it in a while and I've been off for a month before, and I was like, ooh, man, let me see what's out there right quick. And then I look at my schedule like, oh, next month I'm good. I have a week-long class next month. So it's a little bit different when you're retired for sure.
It's a great spot to be in. I'm assuming you just take on work that you want to take on.
Yes,
And
sir.
And I'm sorry you had to get up early for this.
Yeah, I'm usually getting up right about now.
Okay, so once a lead comes in, word of mouth referrals, definitely the best leads that a business can ask for. How does the sales process look like at that point when it comes to getting them into become a client?
Yes, sir. So first, I just make sure that what I'm teaching, what I'm offering, is what they want. Sometimes some people expect a little bit different than what I want, and I have to narrow it down. And also, the other thing too is I've actually going down to California. I created a class specifically for them. They were greatly appreciative, and that was after sending an outline of my material. They said, "Hey, is there any way you could add these things?" I was like, "Absolutely." So I go back to all of my records and my other classes, and I just post that from the other class. I forgot what the question you asked, bro. I got wrapped up in it.
The sales process.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, sir. So then once we determine that this is the class they want, I send them a list, and usually I have a minimum and a maximum number of I'm gonna say recruits, number of students per class. And then we based our price based off of that. And I don't have an issue with it. Some people are like, hey, can we bump that up by five to seven people? If it goes 10, I say we just need to start another class. So I charge per class,
Got it.
which usually has a set amount of people in that class. So once we do that, then we go into, hey, how is it that, because I also require them to pay for lodging, car, all that other stuff. So then we just talk about, and I will and deal. Like I said, I'm not here to get rich. I just enjoy doing what I do. The getting paid and paying my people are the plus. So we just wheel and deal. We talk a little business, we talk a little shop. I give them a price, and either they accept it or they counter with it. And we usually come up with somewhere in the right in the middle of what we're asking. So it ends
Yeah.
up
So it's negotiable in a sense.
absolutely.
Okay, very interesting. Why go that route and not just have like a set fixed price? This is what it is.
Two things is, like I said, I'm really not doing it for the money. And and not to sound egotistical, I know the product that I'm putting out is very good. It's very good. And I really should have gave you some of the feedback that I've gotten back from just going to California. Those are the people that are going to reach out and say, "Hey, he's reasonably priced. He's good at what he does. He's engaging." And I'm not trying to rake people over the coals either. So,
Yeah.
because I've actually, believe it or not, I never thought that this amount of money that I'd be making right now was possible in the corporate world, because I've never been in the corporate world. I've always been in public service. So I'm like, this is just gravy. This is all extra for me. So yeah, the negotiation piece is good. Now, there's times when I've said no, and there's times when other people have said no as well. And that's when we come back to the table and say, well, if we really want to do this, let's meet somewhere in the middle, if
Got
that
it.
makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And it sounds like you get enjoyment from doing the work itself, just for the pure fact of doing the work.
100%. 110%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I enjoy teaching. I enjoy instructing the whole nine. Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's what is that quote where if you like what you do, you never work a day in your life?
Facts. That is a huge fact.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I
That
love that.
is that's a great quote.
I guess when you look into the future, what's the vision? What's the goal that you have for the company, if anything?
Believe this is so this is it's called KJ's Consulting. That's my initials. It's also my two sons' initials as well, and my brother's initials, and my sister's initials, and my dad's initials. So,
Okay.
and my sister's initials. Yeah. So all of us have the same initials, and I want to be able to pass a lot of this stuff off to them because it's pretty much turnkey. The material's already made. Yes, there's going to be times where you have to update and create some different materials, but this stuff is already turnkey. I had a son that went the same route that I went. He went to college, graduated from college, went into the military, was a military intelligence officer, has gone over to Iraq, got out. Now he's in law enforcement. And before he actually got the law enforcement job, he actually worked for me. And I watched him teach and instruct, and I was awestruck by how good he was at it. So I was like, you know what? When this is done, this is going to be yours. I have another son that's about to start college. He's going to graduate this year. He's doing the whole run and start thing. So once he graduates, he's going to go into business, and then he can come back and help out with the business. So, and
That's
again, like I said, it's not this big, hard, in my opinion, difficult job. I mean, it's actually turnkey. So it's something that they could actually get into and keep running for me. So
yeah. And they have desire to do so.
absolutely. My oldest one for sure. This youngest one, I think TikTok is his priority right now, but it is what it is.
Well, we'll see what happens when he leaves college.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
I love that. So that's more long-term vision. What about over the next 12 months? What are the goals, priorities over the next 12 months?
So I still have these contracts that I'm still working on. I'll probably be done with those around June.
Okay.
So this is the other thing I do outside of this is I coach high school football.
Okay.
So it's hard for me to during the like from September to December is all football. I can still go during the day and do my stuff, but I have to be back by 2 o'clock to go coach. And this is where those other guys come in. The guys that I've brought on is there's one or two of them that I trust. If I'm not there, you're going to run it the way I want you to run it. The other guys are just there to, you're going to help assist with instructing, and you're going to help with being an actor during our scenarios. So in the next 12 months, if I can maintain, I'm golden. Anything
Mm,
else is all gravy, is whipped cream, cherry, and sprinkles.
yeah,
This extra.
I love that. That's a blessed spot to be in, my friend.
100%. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I thank the Lord daily. I thank him daily.
Let's go into a quick closing lightning round where I'll rattle off some questions for you and just whatever comes to mind, let me know. Like the first thing, what's one tool or resource has been a game changer for you in your company?
Tool or resource? That's a great question. Believe it, this is bad to say, and I ain't saying it. PowerPoint, believe it or not. PowerPoint. Everything I do is on a PowerPoint. You ever heard that term, death by PowerPoint?
Yep.
I try my hardest not to do that. And
Yeah.
honestly, it comes back to knowing your material. When you see the slide, and it's weird to say, but most instructors do this. I know what story to tell, I know what anecdote to give, and I know how it's going to be, or have an expectation of how that's going to be received, right? So just having those notes up there help me out with, oh, this is where I tell this story, or
Yeah.
this is where I use this anecdote. So I would say PowerPoint, believe it or not.
That's powerful. And then the best presenters, I find that they use the slides as more of a reference and a thing to keep them on track
Yes,
in,
sir.
without going off the rails. But they don't necessarily read word for word off the slide. It's
Correct.
yeah. So I think that's where death by PowerPoint comes in, where people just they have words on a slide and then they just read the words off the slide.
Like you can't read, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. It's just, yeah. I haven't been an instructor for, like I said, the last 30 plus years. It's a learned process. And you have
Yeah,
to be really comfortable with that material.
for
Yeah.
sure. What's the best piece of advice you've received around entrepreneurship along your journey?
Haven't talked with a few people just like on LinkedIn. It's stick with it. Stick with it. It's and again, like I said, I don't need to do this. So it's be really easy just to say, yeah, I ain't worried about that today. But
Yep.
stick with it. Honestly, especially if you believe it's worth it, and this is something that you had a vision for, you you have to stick with it because this is the same thing I tell a lot of my kids in coaching as well. The easiest thing in the world to do is give up, right? And the reason so easy is because anybody can give up. The hardest thing to do is to stick with it. And sometimes you need to take steps back and say, this is where I messed up. Let me go fix this portion and move forward. It's like hiring the right people. I have, I think I have 6 people right now that work for me. Right.
Mm,
There's other people that have come and said, I'm really interested in joining your crew. And as tough as it is to say, I've said like, yeah, hey, you know what? I think we're booked up. We're full
yeah.
because when you're putting your product and your name's on that product, you need to make sure that you're getting exactly what those people paid for. So my biggest thing is stick to it. Don't give up, persevere, and just work through it. Ask for advice and help when you need it, though.
Is there a time that you can think about, or like a story, an anecdote where you almost gave up, or a challenging moment, maybe in the beginning, or even recently, where you had to stick with it? What comes to mind?
I hate it because I sound so pompous, and I hate saying that, but I've never once during this process even thought about not doing it.
Mm,
Because, like you said, it goes back to when you enjoy it. Like, I, you don't stop doing things you enjoy,
yeah,
right? Right. This is almost becoming addictive because I love doing it so much. Like, two things I love doing. I love teaching. I love coaching. So, and I've been coaching since 2010, and I have never stopped. I've been teaching since I was 18 years old, and I have never stopped because I enjoy it. So
yep,
I have never had that where I'm done with this.
yeah.
I haven't experienced that yet.
You strike me as a very purpose-driven guy, where there's a purpose, there's a mission, and like you're doing this because there's real tangible value that it gives into the world. What advice do you have for people? And this is a unique perspective coming from you because you coach the younger generation as well. When it comes to finding your purpose or finding a way to have a bigger impact in the world.
So I might get a little emotional on this because
That's okay.
I have three kids, and one of the things that I've always told them is I'm never going to screw our name up. When you go somewhere and they find out that your mother's Charlene and your dad's Ken Henson, that should alone should be like, we're going to give you a chance because of that. And that's the same thing I pass on to them. The best thing I can give you money, I can give you houses, I can give you cars. The best thing I can give you is a good name. I'm not going to ruin it. You can't ruin it either. So, and I also do that with the kids that I coach as well. Like both of my kids played football. I've coached both of them all the way from they were 9 through high school. They come over here, and their parents know that when they're here, they're in a safe environment. I'm not going to be swearing. I'm not going to be smoking and drinking in front of these kids and all this other stuff. They know that's how it is. So to give back, first and foremost, I give back to my kids, and that's trying to give them purpose. And they can say, my mom and dad got up every day and they went to work. Sometimes my dad worked a double shift. My mom went to college and went to work. So those things right there are is why I do what I do is because I got people looking up to me and I don't want to let them down either.
Wow. I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for your time today.
Absolutely. That
What's
was fun, man. I'm
this
gonna do
was
it again.
Let's do it. It went by very fast. What's
This is
uh,
good.
what's the best way for people to reach you?
Oh, easy. You can reach me. You can go to our website, kjhconsulting.net, and you can email me at khenson@kjhconsulting.net.
Amazing. Beautiful. So that wraps up another insightful episode of Founders Future. Again, thank you so much, Ken, for sharing your journey and your insights with us today. To our listeners, if you're inspired by today's conversation, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And if you're a coach, consultant, or an agency and you're looking to scale and enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to figure out how we can support your growth journey. Until then, keep on climbing.